And we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to TTSN, the Transformational Squirrel Network, where we make shift happen. Today, we are excited to introduce you to the co-founders of Sweet Souls Connection, Bridget Mosser and Sarah Anderson. And Bridget has been in healthcare for 30 years and is currently a nurse practitioner in nephrology, and she focuses on sharing love and joy in any way that she can. And Sarah is a writer and photographer, and she's trying new healing modalities. And both of them have recently been certified in therapeutic touch as well. So ladies, we're so excited to have you on here. Our little chat beforehand was really inspirational, and we're glad to have you here. So welcome to TTSN.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
So we're going to start out by asking you to give us a little background, to tell us how you got into the fields of helping others, and specifically right now in therapeutic touch.
So I can speak for myself. I'm Sarah, by the way. Hello, everyone. And how I got into healing was just struggling with my own depression and anxiety. And I'm an empath by nature, so I also take on a lot of other people's energy. So it just sort of naturally curved into a way like I need to find something that is going to make me feel better and be able to live my life in the best way. And me and Bridget ended up meeting through a program that we purchased through Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And so we joined an accountability group, and then we got talking and discovered that we both had this really strong passion about learning about healing holistically. So
nice.
Beautiful. Yes, and I've been in, like Tamil had said, I've been in healthcare for like 30 years. So it was just my calling, I think, as a kid to help other kids and help other people. So I think I was like 13 or 14, and somebody in the family would get sick. And I remember I had gone to DC and had gotten one of those little bells on my Washington trip. And anybody that got sick, they got the bell, and, oh, call me if you need something. That's kind of how I started. And then it just morphed into that. So I'm also an empath by nature, which I didn't even realize till years later. But then I was a nurse for many years in the ICU, and then I went back to school, and I'm a nurse practitioner now, and I deal with nephrology, so which is the kidneys. So I got into healing more. I've been into it my whole life, but more just as an adult, dealing with anxiety and different things over the years, finding different ways to kind of help. So that's kind of how Sarah and I got to talking about it.
Wow.
Nice. So can you share?
Sorry, go ahead, Cindy.
Can you share, was there something that happened, or, like what was the big breakthrough that kind of pushed you to healing, to wanting to do something different?
I think for me, about 3 years ago, I just felt very lost, and I had gotten away from what I had known myself to be. And I was talking to them before the show, basically saying that, I felt like I'd lost myself. I felt anxious, didn't know why. I had a good life. I had, they had no reason to really feel that way, but I just wasn't on the right path. I didn't feel. So I'd heard about, meditation from some friends, and I didn't know much about it. I didn't know how to start. But I just remember I'd get up in the morning, and people kept saying so many great things about it. I said, this has got to be helpful. And I had taken medications and stuff before too. And so I said, I don't want to take this stuff. I want to figure out a way to fix this. So I sat in my living room in the dark, listening to different people. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just laying there and then trying not to think about all the million things going on in my mind. And then I just kept doing that. And I think about 6 months into it, I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm such at peace and joy. And this is so amazing. All we have to worry about is the present moment. We don't have to worry about yesterday. We don't have to worry about what happened yesterday. We don't have to worry about the future. we just have the now. And that, to me, that was transformative. And since then, I don't worry. One of the guys I use the Chopra app a lot, and Roger Gabriel, I always want to call him Peter Gabriel, but Roger Gabriel he said something that hit me, because I was always a worrier, had anxieties, worrying about what, tomorrow. And he said, worrying is actually praying for things you don't want. Mm-hmm. Like, if you think about it, because you're in control of what's going to happen in your future, and you can make intentions for your life. And if you're worrying about these things, negative things, then they're going to become a reality. Yeah. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, that makes so much sense. So that's how I kind of got started. And then I was like, this is amazing. Like, I understand what people are talking about. Like, it takes so much pressure off of yourself, and just being grateful in the present.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I just wanted to add a little snippet in there that as you're thinking those things, you're actually visualizing them as well, right? And so you're actually projecting it into your future.
Right. You're creating that negative thought. And I never thought I had that much power, I guess, in a way. And that's what I've learned, that really all the power that you have and need is within you. Like, your words are important, your thoughts are important, and things like that. So that, to me, that has been transformative. That's what's transformed me. And so finding other ways to get to that peace, to me, is my passion now.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, Bridget. It's such a huge aha to have when you really feel that, like, it is actually, I am creating this. Like, my thoughts and my feelings are creating my reality. Mm-hmm. And it seems almost too simple, to be true. But once that really sinks in, you want to tell everybody. You want everyone to know that, because you're like, don't waste your time worrying. Like, you got one foot in the future, one in the past, and then you're just like, excuse my language, but pissing all over your present,
Right?
Right.
It's so true. Like, your energy, the energy that you put out there attracts what comes into your life. You've designed it. And though you may think that you haven't, you've designed everything about it, right?
Yeah.
It's so true. And I just want to get more people to understand that, because think about the things that are going on in our world right now. Like, if we could just get people to that place where they don't need to worry about the future, they don't have to beat themselves about the past, and that they're creating their future, and it's open, it's complete open. Like, it can be anything you want it to be. It's overly abundant.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Where you place your attention, you place your energy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so
where your mind goes, your energy flows.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting. My friend was saying to me today that he had been talking to a friend and telling him, just walk out into nature. Just walk out into nature and listen to the birds. But actually listen to the birds. Don't just hear them. Listen to them. Feel the breeze on your face. Go and stand, and if you're not going to hug the tree, just go and put a hand on the tree. Feel that energy, right? Feel your feet in the grass. That's meditation. That is as simple as that.
And that gives me goosebumps. It does. I'm picturing that. I'm picturing myself out there too, but you brought up a huge point about meditation being anything. People think, oh, that's silly. I feel weird. I can't, and because they hear the word meditation, and meditation is so many things. It's just being quiet, standing in nature. You don't have to sit there in the dark, close your eyes like I started out. You could just be in a place that you enjoy being, whether it be sitting by a golf course is a place for me. I get out there and I just hear the birds. I'm have the sun on my face, the breeze coming through the car, and just enjoying myself. And that's very meditative for me. So I think getting that word out, that it's cool to be no matter where you are, wherever you enjoy doing, whether it be, motorized airplanes or whatever it is, you can get to that place, and it's such a place of peace. And there's so many people that I've heard that get to even to a more euphoric place, like they do it for hours a day. I'm not there yet. I don't have that much time, but I would love to do it.
Right.
And I know I hear people say I'm doing it wrong. Like I'm sitting here closing my eyes and my brain's still like spinning, and they think they're doing something wrong. Like, no, that's just how it starts. That's you starting to become aware of your thoughts, and that's just basically what it is. Like, okay, that brain is going, that squirrel, that hamster is running in the wheel.
That squirrel, that's one of the reasons why this is called what it's called, right? The Transformational Squirrel Network, because all of those thoughts that run around in your head all day, and we're trying to bring a little bit of peace into our nut, right? To calm it a little bit. And, even just closing your eyes and feeling that breath and actually following your breath in through your nose and down into your stomach and then following it back out. You can't be thinking of something else while you're actually following that breath, right? So doing that.
So true. So true.
And such an interesting point that we have 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And so when you decide to stop and be quiet, of course, there's going to be chatter, and there's always going to be some chatter, there's always some chatter comes through or and then you start to be able to differentiate and realize where your intuition is coming through, right? Where it's not just the chatter anymore. It's, oh, wow, it's just a knowing coming through now. Now I know what I'm meant to hear. I know what I'm meant to do or say, or right.
I love
so
that.
True. Oh man, I love that too. That's so great. It's so true. Beautiful. And like you said, when you start out, it is there. The noise is there, but that's because we've allowed our minds to kind of take over. But when you continue to do it, your mind also learns that, okay, this is my quiet time. Now I get to go in peace and open up and feel your own, like you're saying, your own breath and your own inner wisdom.
It always comes back to the breath. That's, for me, the easiest way to get grounded and slow down and be in the moment. Just like, so simple. Like take a breath. And then you're like,
It is. And in my classroom, we do a 2-minute gratitude on the hour, every hour, meaning my alarm is set so that at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on the hour, we stop and we go around the classroom just saying what we're grateful for. And, that's even in itself a little meditation too, when you're announcing what you're grateful for and you're sharing that with others. It's bringing that to light and showing other people too what to be grateful for. And that gratitude can ground you and be a part of a meditation. So,
yeah, man, it can be so simple, right? Teacher of the year.
Oh, well, thank you, but there's always something that can be improved, right?
Yeah, well, that sounds like an amazing class.
So I read that you both do therapeutic touch. Do you guys want to maybe share with our audience what therapeutic touch actually is?
Okay. So yes, interesting. Like through the accountability group where me and Bridget met, one of the women in there is good friends with this older lady who lives in Australia that does therapeutic touch. And so we ended up connecting to her. And so basically what it is it's an energy work. So what we want to make sure we clarify is like, we are not healers. The healing partner is the healer. And so basically what our position in it is to rebalance the human energy field. So everyone has, beyond their physical body, there's energy, like that sort of emanates around you in different degrees, and that can get imbalanced. And when there's a sickness or anxiety or a problem, it kind of hits your energy field first. And so if you can kind of keep that in balance as much as you can, you're really going to feel that in your life. So as a practitioner, we've just taken the foundations. So we're not certified to, charge to do it, but we can do it to our friends and family, and we're learning. So we're taking the next course as it comes. But basically it's kind of through your hands. It's probably similar to Reiki, I think, in a sense.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, so you would just feel through the energy field on someone where it feels void, where you might feel a thickness or a buzzing of energy, and you just sort of do an initial once over, and then you can try to sort of smooth it out. It's just, the idea is to rebalance that energy field. So it's fascinating. And I mean, for someone like my fiance, for example, who has zero belief in this, and I did it on him, and he's like, I feel amazing. Like, he's like, I feel so good. I don't know. He thinks he's just trying to make a coincidence. So maybe I just, had a good sleep.
Yeah, and we were even able to do it on Zoom. Like, I didn't think that would be possible, and actually our instructor, she didn't think it was either, but she got together with a couple of other group healers that started this. And our instructor was actually joined up with she was trained by the first two that started this. One was a nurse and the other one was a natural healer. And she trained under them. And so, but we were able to do it on each other through the computer. And I'll be darned if we didn't feel better. I did it on myself. Mm-hmm. So it's exciting to learn these new ways and be open-minded to see if this works. And, there's stages of this. So we've gotten the first level done. Right. And then the next one comes a couple months later. You get time to practice and then move on. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. And she was in private practice at one point and took care of people's ailments. And we're not diagnosing, but we can kind of lead people to to try and help balance their, like you said, they do the work. We're just there to kind of help them transition it.
Right. And it's about the energy that we talked about, because energy, we're all connected through energy, right? And so if you can support them in the way of knowing where that energy needs to be healed and how to do that, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so curious.
Sarah, go ahead, Tam.
I was going to say, I'm curious about some other healing modalities. So Sarah, you've dabbled in a few other healing modalities as well. Is that correct?
Yes, I have. So Body Talk was one of the first sort of beyond, medication or just talk therapy that I ever experienced. And it's like kind of a combination of tapping and intuition. When you go into a session, like you come in with some background. So obviously you're giving a lot of information as to what you might be seeking from the appointment. And it's like it's a release. So I'm sure, as you guys all know, we walk around in this world, we swallow so much of our emotions. Mm-hmm. And I have this like analogy of in the wild, like a tiger or a cougar or something, you see them running, like they put everything they have into it, and maybe they miss their target, and so they stop and they shake it off, like they do a full shake, and you can see like they're ditching all of that energy. And we don't do that as where we are in our our manifestation, our life, our technology. Like, we don't do that as probably at some point we did in when we were more living off the land, but at this point we don't. So we just end up swallowing it. And like that Body Talk I found was a way of just sort of finding like a tap that lets you release it. Mm-hmm. And so it's just something that you kind of have to keep doing, and you find a way to do that in different healing modalities, because it's so important to release that energy.
Right, it very much is. And oftentimes we would turn to a medication or something like that rather than figuring out these other healing modalities. And so the more that we can talk about them and more that we can let people know that they're out there, the better for everyone, because the energy is the piece that needs healing much of the time. It's not always about medication.
Right.
Right.
We're in a society where we're looking for a quick fix, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been taught that we everything we have comes so quickly to us now, right? You want to watch a movie, you got it right now, right? If you want to buy something from Amazon, you got it right now. Like you can have everything right now. And so when it comes down to it now with healing, we want it to be quick and we want it now. And we go and get medication and that doesn't do it. And I know probably 3 of us, if not 4 of us, have experienced medication. And I was on it for years for depression and anxiety.
Me too.
And it doesn't do it, right? We need to dig deeper. And that's where these modalities that we're talking about, that is where you're going to get some answers. And that is where you're going to reach in and start touching some of these things that are stored in our bodies that we haven't let go and shaken off. Like Sarah was saying, they get stuck in there. And if we don't deal with it, it's just going to stay there, and so, and that's where we need that, the collaboration and going to see healers, as well as I do some healing modalities myself, but I also go to other healers. It's something that we need each other. We're not, we can't do it alone. And
that's
so
right.
It's so beautiful to see it expanding and so many more people doing this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing it because you need to.
You touched on medication, and as someone that, in the traditional medicine, you actually prescribe them, and there are people that absolutely need that short term, but it shouldn't be a long-term fix. There's side effects associated with medications. I mean, there's just the SSRIs, the normal ones that we know of, the serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or the Lexapros and the Prozacs and the Zolofts. That's a great class of medications, but it can cause, low sodiums, which can be very serious. It can cause weight gain. It causes, a flat affect so you can't really get a high of any kind of happiness or low. It just kind of, it's a mood stabilizer. So, you don't want to dampen your own personality either by it. But I mean, there's certainly a need for them short-term for some people. I absolutely believe in that. But I agree. I took it for years too. And I'm like, I just don't feel myself. I don't feel anything really.
Yes. Yeah.
So I totally agree that these other options, in conjunction are just so important. And you may be able to get off medication like I was able to.
Yeah. I was as well, and, going back to the piece about being a healer, because I do healing as well, and being a healer and knowing that there is that community, right? As a healer, oftentimes people will think, oh, well, they're a healer. They know, they just do it and they're always well. And that's not true. Healers need support too, and they need to know when to get it. And they often will have a community of healers to be able to do that with, and different modalities or combined modalities. And so when you talk about, body talk, and you talk about sound healing or Reiki or quantum touch, and I see that one of our James it has a comment here that about quantum entanglement and sharing that energy over space, him living in Saskatchewan and working on people in Texas and Florida. It's so important that we realize that everybody can use that energy and use that healing. It's not just, somebody that's completely broken down. No, it's one of those things that we use before we're completely broken down, when we can access them and so that we don't get to that point of being in despair.
It's like more proactive, taking care of yourself instead of we have a Western idea of how we see doctors. We wait till we're sick. And as opposed to a lot of Eastern ways is you go to a doctor preventatively.
Yes.
Or a shaman or whatever. Like, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to get sick. I want to make sure so it's a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of ingrained in us. So I'm so excited to be part of any kind of movement that's going to open up some minds and, get this going.
So true. Me too. Exactly.
Fantastic.
And I think I think, truth be known, we are all healers. We just don't all know it yet.
Yes. It's so true. It is so true.
It's so true. Because we all have our own special gifts that we can, and we all bring a different perception and perspective to the conversation and to different people's energy. And some people's energy may work better with you than others, and different modalities will work better. But if we're all, we definitely are all connected, and this energy is all connected. I 100% believe that. So what James was saying is so true.
Yes, absolutely.
And energy doesn't know time nor space.
No.
So you can do healing across the world. I mean, of course you can. It's energy.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
It is. I had a friend whose son was injured by a dog. There was a dog bite, and she said, I don't know what to do. And so I said to her, one of the most important things you can do is to put your hands wherever it is that this bite was, put your hands over that bite and just bring in all of the love that you can possibly muster up, every ounce of love that you have for this child, and leave your hands there and allow the healing to occur. And we truly believe that did help the healing to happen a lot quicker than it would have. So.
Absolutely. I wanted to say, I forgot there's this, just recently, and I haven't worked with it a lot. I don't know if you guys have heard of havening.
No.
So basically,
I had neither.
It's like, it's a touch like this, just down from your shoulder to your elbow, shoulder to elbow. And it comes with, the sort of a mantra, whatever. And there's just something, even as I'm doing this right now, there's something about this. It's just,
do it too.
It's just so comforting. And what I use this for, I have a phobia of needles, and this woman, this is her job. This is what she does. And so she showed me this technique. She just said, just come up with a sentence that resonates with you, and just do this as soon as you start feeling nervous about it. And it's COVID, so I bring somebody in there because I will pass out because I was so terrified of needles. Just getting blood work. And so I tried this technique out, and it worked so amazing.
Wow.
It blew my mind. I'll give you her name. She's amazing.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Almost like a hug, right? You're giving yourself a hug as you're doing it.
It is.
You're comforting.
And the more you do this, it's self-comfort, right? It's self-care. You get to do this for yourself. This is something you can do anytime when you're feeling bad about anything. And it seems so simple. Well, it is.
It is, absolutely. And another one that's a good calming one that I teach my kids at school, it's a good calming one, and it's also good for the immune system, and that is your thymus gland is right here. And you start tapping that thymus gland, it calms you down, but it also promotes healing because it's activating your thymus gland. So
absolutely. Tapping, there's something along this karate chop part of your hand.
Yeah.
So this, you can do the tapping here, here. It seems like, the teenage version of myself would be like, really?
Yeah, right.
Like, Sarah, what's this hokey shit you're talking about?
Yeah, right. But it's so true. You mentioned something about, you said the teen in you would say that. I want to touch base with you guys on glow, because glow was something that you really caught my interest. It's really close to something that I would enjoy doing.
Absolutely. For me, I spent basically the first 3 decades of my life thinking that self-worth came from outside of me. Right. So I spent a lot of time people pleasing and scrambling around and just really trying to feel good about myself by doing other things for other people. I didn't know that it came from within myself, and that took me on some really bad paths. And I mean, like, it's okay because I turned out the way I did, and I took the hard way. But this whole glow thing is basically for young girls to learn that self-worth is inside them, and we're born whole, and nobody can take that away. You think they can, and sometimes, and I have done this, given my power up because I didn't think I had it. I didn't think it was my power.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand. And if I could even teach one girl that, I would be forever like grateful, you know. If I could spread that to just one young lady and like have her have a little bit easier time instead of stumbling around making all these horrible choices because I just didn't understand. So GLOW stands for Girls Leading Others Wisely, and yeah, it's a leadership program, and for girls in, I mean, basically from 11 till 17. So to help them have the tools that they don't necessarily get in school, unless they're in your class, Tamla.
So true. It was so true. Yeah. And it sounded like, we were fortunate enough to meet the woman who started it. And she explained that, they have different groups of girls that come through, and then they have people that have been through the program. So people that have been through there and then actually come back and say, this really did change me. You don't have to go through this, even though negative thoughts, whether they come in from somebody else telling you them, or they just come up in your own mind from whatever, all this, like you're saying, 80,000 thoughts a day come through your mind. You don't have to accept them. Just because that thought comes in your mind, you don't have to own it. You can say, I see that thought, it's going to go right through. I don't accept it. I am powerful. I am fierce. I am, I am immune to criticism, those kind of things. And so it teaches them how to handle those things that happen, because it's going to happen to all of us. It happens to all of us as adults. People will try and steal your power or overpower you. And so I think if they get that steady impression when they're that age, that they go through life with that power and know that it's their own and no one can take it. So to me, if you start there, it's just you're going to be unstoppable the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And
it's so beautiful.
It is. And allowing them to know too that the thoughts that are in their head, they might not even be their own thoughts. Right?
Exactly.
They might be coming from somewhere else that they don't even believe what's going on in there, but it's something that's come up for them because they've heard it from someone else. They don't need to own that. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just heard a story yesterday from a physician out of Stanford, Zubin Davania, that I follow, and he was talking about the staggering rates among young girls of suicide rates, that it's been the highest now in the history of the U.S. that the suicide rates, and it's because of these negative thoughts. So say, oh, do this, do that. They don't, like you're saying, they don't even know where they come from.
Right.
And then they take it in as their own. And you don't have to take in these thoughts as your own. You just because a thought. I mean, how many people get to the edge of a cliff and they think, oh man, what if I jumped? I mean, those things come in our mind, but it's not like we're going to act on them. We don't have to believe it,
Right.
So it really, really is important. Like, he's not even going to let his kids on social media. I mean, it's hard to keep kids away from that, but he was explaining, we used to be, as kids, we used to be able to go to school and, if there were bullying or somebody teasing you, you could go home and get away from it. You could go home and I have peace tonight. I'm going to be in my safe place, but not with social media. They can get to you 24 hours a day. Yeah. So, there is something to be said about that. And I just feel like if you can empower the child or the girl to know that stuff's not real, and that this isn't real, you don't own it, and empower them, that this will help somebody.
Nobody can take your power away from you unless you think they can.
Yeah, unless you allow it, right?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So to me, that's critical in helping. I mean, there's so many adults that we know that have gotten away from themselves and need this kind of support. But if you can really start a good basis, and your parents can tell you that, but it's different when you can go to this program and hear it from other people. And, you know, I have a 16-year-old daughter that she's willing to come on there and talk about, you know, her things that she goes through. So yeah, we were fortunate enough, we were asked by them, we were just fortunate enough to talk to her, and we're talking about things that we're doing. And she said meditation really isn't part of their program, but would we be interested in doing a, you know, a short video meditation visualization kind of thing for them, something that they could do in their own time that would help them. We were like, wow, that would be amazing. So we were honored to be asked to do that. Yeah,
that is fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, if we can help one person, if I can help one person, she can help one person, then that to me, that makes a ripple effect, and then that will just shine out, and that love and joy will get to more people, and that's our goal.
Absolutely. And you know, when we were kids, you were saying how, you know, now they can't get away from that because of social media. When we were kids, when we went home, we went outside, right? Yeah, we went outside, right, and we enjoyed nature. We did a lot of outdoor activities that allowed us to just be kids, allowed us to just be free. And
that was our meditation out there, right? Yes. We were looking, you know, here in Florida, we get in the creeks and we were looking up, that was our big thing, to look, get shark's teeth every day. So we would catch as many shark's teeth as we could.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that, swinging from the vines over the creek, you know, just having, and we didn't come in till the lights started coming on, and the street lights started coming on, and then we had to be home. Yeah. And they couldn't call us, and we couldn't call them. It was just what life was.
Yeah. So different, right?
Yeah. Our new reality is so, I mean, my niece had a sleepover with me last night, and I mean, this morning she's curled in this ball just staring at her phone for hours. I'm like, okay, let's go outside. What? It just looks so unnatural. Even the posture that goes with it is like this is, you know, what it looks.
Yeah, there is no power pose to this, right?
No,
there's no superhuman, superpower.
Yeah, right.
No, it's true. And it's just, you know, they're watching other people live life instead of going out and living it. That's what I see, you know?
Yeah, and the comparisons that they're making to their own life and other people's lives is so negative for them, because they're seeing, a lot of times they're seeing either the really highs in that other person's life or the real lows in that other person's life. And they're not seeing the balance in between to know that life is even keel for much of it, right? It's not just the really high highs and the really low lows.
Absolutely. And
but that's not just for teenagers, that's for everyone.
Well.
You're so right. It's so right.
It's comparison, and that's gonna bring you down if you're constantly worrying about where you fit in. And you know, someone's always going to be better off and someone's always going to be worse off. And if you spend all your time just worrying about how, like, what you could do better because you should be this person or that, and it's crazy. It's just such a energy suck.
That's where your energy goes, to the negativity.
That's exactly where your energy goes, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes a vicious cycle. So yeah, I mean, the phones in a lot of ways have been good. I mean, this technology, we're able to be here tonight together. I mean, there's good things about it. You just can't let it consume you. You have to still go out and do the things you enjoy doing, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, I think a big thing that we can teach our teens in particular, but also adult women as well, adult men as well, but is, you know, if you put it out there, if you put that vision out there, whether it's vision boards or however you want to look at it, you put that energy out there, that's coming back to you. So what you're looking at on your phone, a friend of mine always says, garbage in, garbage out, right? What you're looking at on your phone, what you're listening to, the music you hear, the people that you're around and feeding off of, that's what you're building into your life. You know, you look at your life down the road, and that's where you're going to be. So
true.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's all about awareness, right? I mean, it really is. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because if you're aware of these thoughts that come in and know that they're not you, or, you know, okay, I'm watching this, I'm wasting an hour of my time today. Okay, and you're aware of it, knowing that you're going to go do something else. But it can consume you. I mean, I've been on my phone before and somebody's talking to me, I don't even hear them. Yeah. And I'm so focused on what I'm looking at that moment. Absolutely. We all can just take a time out from our phones and just put them down and move on. We don't need them. Like we didn't need them as kids. We don't need them now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And reminding our kids too. Like, I mean, as adults, sometimes we are allowing them it's really easy to just let your kid be on their device. It's really easy to do that because you get your time then, right? However, it is not what is best for that child. It is not. That child needs communication with their parents. They need communication with other children their own age. They need, and not communication using a phone. They need to know what it's like to sit down at the supper table and have an actual conversation while you're having a meal. They need to know what it's like to learn how to do the dishes the right way and washing them and having a discussion about whatever while they're doing it. They need human interaction. They don't need their phone all the time. And yes, there are great videos out there and there's great stuff on TV to watch with them. However, nothing can replace that human interaction and that positive energy that they can get and the learning that occurs from that.
Exactly. It's all about balance, right? Like there's a certain amount of time, and I get it. Like it can be easy. Like you said, it's just, okay, well, they're busy doing that, so I'm gonna, you know, and you can all tune out, but ultimately at the end of it, like we all pay for it, right?
Yes, absolutely. There's a question here about how you incorporate meditation and journaling in your life. Do either of you do journaling?
Yes, absolutely. So Bridget and I actually, something that hugely inspired us that we didn't mention before was a workshop that we took. There was writing to heal. And I mean, I come from a writing background. I'm a journalist. And so I've always kind of written, but maybe more so about, you know, interviewing and other people and whatever. But this is like flow writing. So it's very different. So I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the idea of flow writing in these workshops is basically, so you go through a visualization meditation, and so you become very calm and get into this like really good mindset. And basically we want that pen in your hand and like on that page, and you just start writing, like start moving your hand, even if you just write your name 100 times until you get to what's under there. It's just this access point that's, you're writing from your heart, your emotions, instead of thinking, oh, what should I write, you know? And it just flows out, and some of this stuff you're like, what the heck?
It's actually a neurological pathway. When you actually put the pen in your hand, it's a different pathway than when you're listening to anything. So journaling is important, but you do this flow writing, you get this whole visualization. You know, we just did this on fear actually on our last workshop this past week. And then you just start writing stuff, and you don't know what's going to come out. Like they don't prepare you, and you just say, just start writing and you just start writing, and you don't even know where it's going to go. But it takes such a load off you, and it puts you in a state of like just calm. That's what I experienced.
And even like your dreams and stuff, when you wake up, sometimes when I first wake up, I'll start writing just to get it out. I know like it fades and stuff, but it's another kind of outlet. Like we spoke about the animal shaking when it doesn't catch, you know, whatever. It's just one more outlet to sort of get all that emotion that's going on in your head, all that script and all those words and all those thoughts. Because some of it is just complete garbage until you peel back all the layers. And then maybe there's something really under there that you're like, okay, maybe I need to look at that. Because that seems like an irrational belief or some limiting thought that I didn't even know I had. So you can start to uncover limiting thoughts and other things that people may have fed you over your lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
That you're walking around subconsciously, not even aware. So writing, I think, is huge. I think it's really
I just did a 21-day meditation challenge on our page, and Sarah actually challenged me to do it because I meditate every day anyway. But when I was actually going to tell people about it every day, I actually went, I listened to it, I wrote out the meditation because it's Deepak Chopra, and he goes through what he's going to talk about, and then you have a moment of quiet. But I actually wrote it out, and I got so much more from it just from writing it out because I listened to it, then I wrote it out, then I presented it to the group. I got so much more out of it. I wanted people to join me doing it. But there is something to writing it down and to reading it, and you just absorb it twice as much, I think, when you do all of that. So I definitely think it's important, and I enjoyed writing. I mean, I have like all these workbooks now. I've got one here just like full of all my meditations, just writing them all down. And so it's nice.
You touched on something there too, Sarah. I have taken a meditation and lucid dreaming course. And in lucid dreaming, you actually are in an aware state while you're dreaming. And they say never to wake yourself up from a nightmare, because I know that that's something that you want to do. You feel like you're in a nightmare and you want to get out of it, right? They say never wake yourself up from it, but in fact, change the ending of that nightmare so that you're successful and you are you get through it in a positive way, because that nightmare is often linked to something that happened in childhood that has upset or hurt you, and it's an emotion that you need to release. And until you're able to release that emotion by allowing yourself to be a success in that dream or in that nightmare, you will continue to have that emotion and hold it inside.
I love that so much. That resonates. Like, because it's true, your subconscious mind, that's what's happening when you're dreaming. It's processing. And and as we all know, when you first wake up, the dreams can be really strong and they fade. And yes, you apparently, and I don't know, but apparently you can actually teach yourself how to lucid dream. Yes, I just saw a course from Bridget. Do you remember his name? It's from Notes from the Universe. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah, Dodie, isn't it? Like.
Yeah, something like that. But they actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, Jamila, because they just had this course coming out that's exactly what it's targeted towards. And I mean, we spend a third of our life sleeping, so there's something. I mean, there's something.
It's fascinating. It's really cool. It's neat to be able to go back into that dream once you've become aware of it. Go back into that dream and change the path of it.
So you took a course on that, Tamla, you said?
Yes. Yeah, through Mind Valley, because I'm a Mind Valley member, and I
like Mind Valley.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I'm going to look that up. That sounds amazing, because I don't really remember my dreams a lot. But sometimes, I meditate every morning, but sometimes you wake up and you just have an unsettling, probably like something that I dreamt that I don't remember. So I would love to be able to tap into that a little bit and see if I can remember some of them. I have a dream catcher I look at, but it still doesn't. Sometimes I'll be able to remember a little bit. My husband, on the other hand, I mean, he'll come, I'm like, is this reality or is this the dream? Because he's got such a whole story that happened to him overnight.
Right.
I'm like, gosh, I wish I could remember all that.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Well, ladies, is there anything else that you had that you'd like to share with our listeners before we jump into our squirrel shots?
Oh my gosh, I mean, I could probably talk for hours, but
don't let Sarah do that. No, I'm just kidding.
We can always have you on again.
No, she and I'll get on the phone talking, and we've never met in person. We just know each other through this, but we'll be on the phone and we'll look down and be like, it's 2.5 hours. Like, what do we do? Awesome. So, like, I feel very connected with you two. Like, we're all in the same mindset, I think, about this.
Yes. Yeah, I can't think of right in this moment anything else I want to say. So
yeah, we covered a lot, but yeah, we can talk about this forever, as you see, as you can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. We sure could. Okay, well, I'm going to start with squirrel shots. So rapid fire questions. And, you know, just so that you don't have to make a decision on who goes first, I'm going to go left, right. So Bridget, you're on the left side for me. So you get question number 1.
Okay.
So a place you most want to travel to?
Scotland.
Sarah, what's your favorite smell?
Lavender and vanilla mixed together.
Bridget, weird quirk?
My husband says like I suck out of a bottle weird, like almost like I'm a baby drinking a bottle. He tells me that a lot, and I'm like, okay.
Okay. Sarah, ask for permission or beg forgiveness?
Ask for permission? It was a question, even how I asked.
Bridget, what's your favorite carnival food?
You asking me?
Yeah.
My favorite carnival food are those little, I don't know, those powdered sugar things that
the donut.
Dough. It's like a donut, but it's like
I know what you're talking about.
Beaver tails.
What is it called?
Beaver tails.
Oh my
I've never
god!
heard it called that.
Okay.
It's like a fritter. It's almost like it's like dough with powdered sugar on it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yum. Okay, what always makes you laugh, Sarah?
Oh, like a fart.
A fart. I was gonna say the same thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Making us all laugh.
Okay,
Sarah, we're connected.
No doubt, eh? Bridget, as a child, what did you say you wanted to be as an adult?
A veterinarian.
Oh. Sarah, what's the best book you've ever read?
Tuesdays with Morrie.
Oh, good.
Bridget,
your guilty pleasure?
Chocolate.
And Sarah, this is my last one. What do you first notice about a person when you meet them?
Their eyes.
Oh, okay. And now Cindy's going to ask one last question to both of you before we end.
Okay, so if you were to climb the highest mountain and the whole world could hear you, what would you say? Bridget first.
You are enough.
Nice. Sarah?
Oh, I love that so much. You are enough. I would say, I would say your self-worth is in you. So don't be looking for that anywhere else. Like, look inward.
Awesome. That is so true. Love it. So ladies, where can our listeners find you?
So we have a page, a Facebook page called Sweet Souls Connection. And then we also have a group called Discover the Healing Power Within. And we do, a lot of different things. We do Discover the Right to Heal workshop. We did through that. We do the meditation series that I did. We share a lot of good quotes and insights from people. And it's just a forum where we can all share our own struggles and healing patterns that work for us. So it's a great group. So come on and join us anytime. We'd love to have you.
Excellent. And if we can get one of you ladies to put those in the comment box below, that would be great, because then our listeners can go in and find those at their fingertips. Okay, that would be awesome. So we want to thank you ladies again for being on here with us, and I'm sure that we'll be connecting some more. And anybody that wants to connect with them, please do. We look forward to our listeners joining us again next week. We want you all to have a fabulous rest of your week. And so we're signing off from TTSN. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right.